Well, if my avoidant partner cared, then they would just show up. I mean, right, it just seems so simple, right? Say how you feel, send a message, lean in, do something, and yet somehow they just don't. So avoidance, fearful, and dismissive get a bad rap in relationships. Like, they don't care, they're lazy, they're inconsiderate. Let me tell you what's actually happening when an avoidant is triggered, and why it's not as simple as if they wanted to, they would. I'm going to use a personal example because something so small happened to me the other day, so I have to share it because I want to show you how something so simple, like sending a message, a text message to someone, can feel impossible for an avoidant. Buckle up. So the other day, my sister was telling me about the TikTok that she started, and she was so excited but nervous, and she was asking me all of these questions, like how to edit, when to post, how many times do I post, also telling me how many views, and all the things that we all do when we're starting out, sending me a lot of messages, right? And I noticed that there was some resistance and tension in my body. I wanted to support her. I wanted to encourage her, tell her that I'm proud of her, keep going, but my body physically would not let me do that. Internally, it felt like my brain and my body weren't connected. Like I did not have control over my body. It was like someone was holding my arms down, preventing me from messaging her. Even though in my mind I was thinking, oh, I want to send her this message, I want to do that. But it was like I was literally almost paralyzed. So instead of leaning in like I wanted to, I could feel myself shutting down. And instead of holding space for her like I wanted to, I went into protective, problem solving, logic giving advice mode, to the point where I actually had to put my phone down and walk away because the conversation had become too emotionally overwhelming for me. Even though, again, consciously, I was like, I'm literally texting my sister what's happening. And this is what people don't really see about specifically avoidant behaviors, right? It seems that we justify and acknowledge anxious driven behaviors, but we tend to villainize avoidant behaviors. But the point is that they come from protective and survival responses that are unconscious, and they were wired into our nervous system. Okay, so it's not always that people with an avoidant attachment style, again, fearful or dismissive, don't care. It doesn't mean that we don't have the desire to do something or the desire to show up. It is an unconscious nervous system response. Before our logical brain can even process what is happening, our body is responding because it views intimacy like encouragement or holding space for insecurities, for instance, as unsafe. Shutdown happens instantly. On my own personal journey, because I know that I don't really share my story very often, so I want to share more stories from my experience in my life. On my own journey, healing my avoidant behaviors, my avoidant patterns has actually been more challenging than my anxiously driven ones, because the avoidant side shuts that shit down. And it is so instantaneous. It really does take a lot of awareness and nervous system regulation to be able to catch it and to change that behavior in real time. You can't always catch it in those moments, where repair is crucial. So I'm going to walk you through what I did in this particular case to move through this avoidant trigger. So I noticed what was happening in my body, and although again I couldn't necessarily move through it in that moment, I didn't shame myself for not being able to. I didn't shame myself for having it. I got curious. This is what's happening right now. This is where I felt it in my body. My nervous system is trying to protect me. Thank you for trying to protect me. Makes sense. Then I took a moment to regulate, move through that, to reconnect to my body, to create that internal safety. I thought about what is one step that I can take to lean in and reestablish connection rather than pulling away. And even though it scared me, even though it felt very uncomfortable, I sent the message that I originally wanted to send. Exclamation point in. Did it feel easy? No. Did it feel natural? No. Because it goes against everything that my body learned to protect me throughout my entire life. Doesn't mean that it was wrong, doesn't mean that I'm broken, doesn't mean that I'm a terrible sister or friend or partner. It was just something outside of my familiar, and I was doing the opposite of what my body learned to protect me. Yeah, it might sound absolutely ridiculous to someone who doesn't have this attachment style of like, wow, Rachel, you couldn't even send an encouraging text message to your sister, you are such a terrible person. But that's the point. It isn't logical. It was something that my body learned a long time ago when I felt unsafe in connection. And yeah, I still get triggered. Yeah, I coach other people. Yeah, I'm far more secure than I used to be. But it doesn't magically go away, and that's okay. I'm still surprised by things that triggered me. Wow, I didn't expect that to trigger me. That's okay. That's a part of the healing journey. That's a part of growing and evolving and building secure relationships.